Well. We are getting ready for the 53-man roster. That means it is time for some football. Let's get it. Let's go. It is time for some football. No more of this preseason nonsense. It is time to get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's go. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up in the future. Now let's talk facts. Man, let me tell y'all something. I'm excited. It is time for some football. I'm tired of analyzing preseason games. In the grand scheme of things, that game last night meant nothing. We saw some players. They absolutely only showed us what they've been showing us. And then one player showed us what he hasn't been showing us. And then we're putting stock into this game like it was a world beater game. No. I ain't putting no stock in this game. It is now time to get down to the real games. Let's get the topics for today. We're gonna probably go about 2 hours today, because I do plan on coming back tonight at midnight doing Cowboys After Dark. So these are gonna be our topics for today. 3, the hard way. 3 players the Cowboys must absolutely sign. Then, I gotta remind the haters. I gotta remind the Jerry Jones haters. You can't have it both ways. You can't hate on Jerry Jones for not signing Michael Parsons, but then not give Jerry Jones some love for an incredible roster that we need to be giving Jerry Jones and his front office credit for. I'm sorry. You gotta sometimes step back, because if not, you can't see the forest for the trees. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones have put together an incredible roster. A roster so good that it beat the brakes off whatever that mess was the Atlanta Falcons had out there last night. Then, we're gonna talk about the Jerry and Stephen A interview. I wanna hit y'all with something on the Jerry and Stephen A interview that, hey man, we're gonna talk about it. But again, found another article talking about fringe players, or no, 105.3, they were talking about fringe players. I want to listen to what they were talking about and see where they're going with that. And then, breaking news, anything that comes through while we're on, we'll talk about it. So, 3 must-sign players, Jerry's roster, Jerry and Stephen A's interview, fringe players from 105.3 The Fan, and breaking news. We only got a couple hours. Let's get into this. Yeah, I am ready for some football. Y'all ready? I'm excited about this season. For all of this stuff we've been talking about in the preseason, I'm excited. Let's get this roll call in, and then I'm going to tell y'all why I am excited as we get into these topics. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. I see you, Richard Owens in the crib. What up? Brandon Cup up in here. He said, what's good? He said, be very careful about your opinions. If Daniel Lim don't like it, he will act like the government and start pulling wolf tickets. This is a debate forum. Feelings aside, you dig? You dig. We all good, Brandon Cup. Yes, sir. We can handle it. Let's go. LaQueen Jackson, one of my sisters from the beginning. What's going on? She said the G Countdown is here. So excited for the season. LaQueen, I am excited. Oh, you're not gonna steal my thunder. She said she's excited for the season. She says, I was impressed with Houston last night. You're not gonna steal my thunder, but yes, I was too. Let's go. Brandy, she says, who must we sign? We're gonna see in a few minutes. Randy McIntyre said, hope your day is going well. Man, always, to God be the glory. Brian Davis up in here. Michael took a nap, G. I saw it, Brian Davis. We gotta help this man out, Brian. He can't keep clowning now. Michael Parsons know doggone well. Brian Davis, Michael Parsons know what I know, Dallas. This is all David Mulugeta. I'm gonna tell you this. It'll be one of the biggest mistakes, Brian. It'll be one of the biggest mistakes Michael Parsons ever makes in his life. I think in some respect, it'll be a huge mistake on the Cowboys to not sign Michael Parsons. But I tell you this, Jerry is dug in on David Mulugeta. He ain't playing. He ain't playing with David Mulugeta, man. And Jerry, with the way he's doing this, he got to follow through. Alfredo Morales, what's going on with you? Good to see you today. Let's go. The Newhouse fam, regulating like Warren G up in here. What's going on with you? Mitchell Roman up in the crib, in the city. Hey, let's call it the congregation. Up in the congregation. Mitchell Roman, God bless you too. Randy McIntyre in the crib. He said had a belly full of the Michael contract. Yeah, we ain't gonna even talk from that end today. My brother, RT Holman, Roderick Holman in Florida, holding it down. You on the beach? What's going on? Sean Springer up in here. What's going on? He said, oh, everyone is doing great. All right. Uh-oh, the regular Dominique Pittman. What's going on? Let's go. All right, let's get a couple more in. We're gonna get this thing going. Ken, please. He said, I'm ready for some football. Man, me too. I'm ready to roll through this season. I believe the Cowboys are going to be incredible. King Samuel up in the crib. What's going on? Yo, G, bless him. The Newhouse fam. Man, I don't know. This dude may just be a practice squad guy. We're going to see what it do with this guy, Michael Ojemudia. We'll see how it goes. Football fanatic up in the crib. Broadway Joe Milton. Stop it, football fanatic. Brian Worley, hey, you know what it is. Pat Meat Greasy, yes sir. Moose, up in the crib, what up with you? All right, let's get this thing going. Jaden Justin up in here, let's go. The real Daryl, let's go with this. Let's see what we got going. All right. So let's kind of talk about this stuff that we got going on with the Cowboys. I got to really kind of tie this in both ways. Last night, no hate on Joe Milton. And let me give you why I'm saying this. Football fanatic, I knew it. I knew you was clouded. Football fanatic, I already know you clouded. I appreciate you, though. I'm glad you're here today. Hey, crowd, what's going on? K-Way, salute. Yes, sir. Oh, let me get this super chat in. Mitchell Roman, what's going on? He said, Mr. G, God bless. What time are you live? Never could catch you. I typically go on around 4:30. Appreciate you rocking with me. And then sometimes we rock at midnight. We rocked at midnight last night. Man, we went from midnight to 4 a.m. last night. And I'm probably going to rock again tonight. If I'm not too sleepy, I may do a midnight show tonight, depending upon what comes down. It's odd to me when you think about what transpired last night. There are players who flashed last night who have already been flashing against good competition. And these three players that I'm going to bring up, they've already been doing good against good competition. Then we had Joe Milton, who in the grand scheme of things, I want us to understand what we're saying. And when you talk objectively, people just can't deal with objective conversations because most of their conversations are subjective. No, I'm actually having an objective conversation with Joe Milton. Do we not realize how bad that Falcon team was? That Falcon preseason team last night was atrocious. It is obvious to me the Falcons pretty much had their entire 53-man roster settled on. Settled on. Man, they had a doggone tight end they had a tight end. I mean, the Falcons had players, I promise you, they were not even on the depth chart more than likely. And let me show you something that's crazy. Adam Schefter, let me see if I can find this. Look at this. Tell me this isn't absolutely banana bonkers. And this is why I'm not putting stock into what I saw last night. These three players that I'm talking about right now, the Cowboys must sign them right now. Not because of last night, but because of them last night and what they've done. The previous 2 games and through training camp. These three players I'm talking about right now, they are bona fide players. And there are others. We're going to go back through that Cowboys roster. There are others that must be signed. But these players from last night, it's just piling on what they've already been doing. Look at this right here. These are the players the Falcons released. Already? Yeah. Do y'all know this is these are some of the players we were playing against? They couldn't wait to cut these jokers. They couldn't wait to cut these players, man. I can't put stock in what Joe Milton did last night. Not the kind of stock that says he's ready to be a QB2 on any team that is playoff worthy. Now, if you're telling me as a developmental quarterback on a team that is kind of putting it together and they want to do something in the next 3 years, Joe Milton, yeah, put him on there. You can make him your QB2. Yeah, put him on there. Let's see what he got. But when I'm thinking about the Dallas Cowboys, I am so excited for this team. I am telling us whether we like it or not. The Cowboys have a championship level team right now. Sometimes I'm telling y'all, I have to step back. I have to step back sometimes. And I want us to step back. We have to step back sometimes. Because when I'm telling you we have a championship level team, I'm telling you that because I'm thinking about the 2021 team. I'm thinking about the 2022 team. I'm thinking about the 2023 team. I'm talking about those 12-win teams. This roster, currently as constructed on paper, is better than all 3 of those rosters. Better than all 3 of those rosters. All 3 of them. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens now is better than even Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb were when Amari Cooper came. Because CeeDee Lamb was not on the verge of making that next step when Amari Cooper came. Amari Cooper was a part of in a sense, training CeeDee Lamb. But when I think about CeeDee Lamb now, prime CeeDee Lamb, who I now say, until something proves me wrong, I say right now, CeeDee Lamb is the best wide receiver in football right now. There is not a wide receiver in this league right now. I'm taking over CeeDee Lamb. I'm not taking Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua. You can go down the list. There is not a wide receiver right now where CeeDee Lamb is not only in his physical game, but where he is in his mental game. I'm not taking any wide receiver right now over CeeDee Lamb. And when you put George Pickens in this mix, and now you're going to use Kevontae Turpin in the slot, Jaden Blue, you watch what I tell you, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa, those players are going to be juggernauts by the time we hit midseason. They will be the 1-2 punch. Jake Ferguson, Jake Ferguson should have an incredible year with George Pickens playing on the outside, eating up the boundaries, and him in the seam. This team right now is better offensively than anything we've seen. Championship level. I have to step back sometimes. I know because see, we're in this. We've been allowing this Michael Parsons thing to kind of pull us in, and with me, it's not really pulling me in, but I have to address it. So it kind of pulls us in, and then we get out and we start talking about football, and then we get pulled in, and then we start talking. No, I want us to really understand. Let's step back for a second. This Dallas Cowboys team is incredible. It's incredible. When I think about these wide receivers, CD, George Pickens, Kevontae Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo, Trayshawn Holden, Ryan Flanoy, I'm telling you, the Cowboys are 6-7 deep on this thing, man. We ain't never been this deep on wide receivers. We've never been this deep on wide receivers. We are going to be a problem for every team we see. And if history serves us well, every time Dak Prescott comes off these injuries, this dude has MVP level seasons. Guys, we got to step back. This team is incredible compared to anything we've seen over the last 4 years. It's incredible. Mike McCarthy was a boring play caller. I got news for y'all. I got problems with Mike. Hey, I got problems with Brian Schottenheimer. I don't like the way they did this thing with Joe Milton, but none of it matters as long as Dak Prescott stays healthy. Because I'm telling you right now, it was Brian Schottenheimer who stepped in 2023 and begged Mike McCarthy, put these wrinkles in the offense. Put these wrinkles in the offense. Brian Schottenheimer, the thing that I love about Brian Schottenheimer as a play caller, let me tell you how humble that he is as a play caller. He's a great play caller. But the thing that you're going to love about him, he's never too prideful. Mike McCarthy was so prideful as it pertains to the West Coast. That's why he reverted back to it in 2024 after putting up video game numbers in 2023. Brian Schottenheimer not only has his own stuff, Brian looks out at the league and says, what's working? What's Kyle Shanahan doing that's working? What's Sean McVay doing that's working? What's Andy Reid doing that's working? Well, I'm going to take what they're doing that's working, and I'm going to implement that into what I'm doing. Brian Schottenheimer is a great play caller. I'm telling us, guys, we have to step back and not let's stop buying into this drama between Jerry Jones and Michael Parsons. It's nothing but drama. It's much ado about nothing. Michael Parsons is going to get signed. It's not a matter if he's not going to get signed. It's a matter of when. It is time to focus on football. And Michael Parsons would be foolish not to want to be with the Cowboys this year. This is not only the best offense that Dak Prescott has had to date, this is also the best defense that Michael Parsons has had around him to date. It's the best defense he's had to date. Michael Parsons is surrounded with pass rushers. Surrounded. Do we realize Michael Parsons is surrounded with pass rushers? Marshawn Nealon, Donovan Ezeraku, Dante Fowler, Sam Williams, James Houston. He's surrounded. When you look at the three tech, Oso Digizua, Solomon Thomas, Mozzie Smith, we might as well count Mozzie as a 3/1. Mozzie is going to be going back and forth between the 3 and the 1. Brian has already said it. The Cowboys got Jay Toya. He looks promising. I do think we need to get us a one tech, and I do think the Cowboys are going to get that one tech. It looks like Trayvon Diggs is talking about coming back no later probably than the first week in October. So we're going to shore up that cornerback room. Savon Revel Jr. will probably be ready to go. Savon Revel Jr. will probably be ready to go. I'm telling us, all I'm saying is this. We have to step back from all the complaining about Jerry Jones. Let's step back so that we can see the forest. We got to step back so we can see the forest. This is a championship level team. And this is the only reason I'm harping on this thing about Joe Milton. But at the end of the day, as long as Dak Prescott stays healthy, the Joe Milton thing is null and void. It don't even matter in the grand scheme of things. It is time. Oh, man, Eyes Under Hoodie. Boy, you done hit me up. I didn't even forgot about this. Eyes Under Hoodie said, we have the best kicker in the league. Tell him, Eyes Under Hoodie, we have an incredible team. Our special teams is special. We got the best kicker and the best kickoff/punt returner in this NFL. We got to step back. We can't see the forest for the trees. We're complaining so hard about this Michael Parsons stuff, and we're not realizing something. Hold on a second. We pretty doggone good. We've complained ourselves out of understanding how good we are. Man, we good. This team runs circles around that 2023 team. I bet you that Green Bay team wouldn't want to see this Dallas Cowboy team. Not this one right here. This Dallas Cowboy team right here is built. And we're going to see on paper, currently constructed, this is a top, I can go no less. This has to be top 5, top 6 offense. Bar none. Bar none. Once it gets going, it will be a top 5. I'm telling you, I won't be surprised if we're in the top 3. I won't be surprised. But again, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to look at this article that I found, because this article is in somewhat agreement, I believe, with a lot of us. I found an article over here on Sports Illustrated. And they're talking about 3 players that the Cowboys must sign. 3 absolute players. And one of the things that I want to look at with these 3 players that the Cowboys must sign is I want you to kind of look at a theme with these 3 players in particular that I believe the Cowboys must sign. Because 2 of them have a very interesting story. And I think it's the very thing that's making these 2 players in particular hungry. So it says over here on Sports Illustrated, Dallas Cowboys, this is their Dallas Cowboys section. It says there'll be some tough decisions for the Cowboys. And I think we might have read this, but I want to go a little bit more in depth on these 3 players because I think, again, after last night, we are all definitely in agreement on these players. And I'm telling you right now, the one player of these 3 the Cowboys must sign is James Houston. They cannot go without signing James Houston. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to throw this in here. I'm going to tell y'all something. I said this when they first got James Houston. I talked about it in a video. James Houston. Y'all ready for this? I really believe, indirectly, James Houston is the Trey Lance of 2025. And what do I mean by that? Jerry brought in Trey Lance to kind of put the squeeze on Dak Prescott. Didn't work. Trey Lance, and I'm just being honest with us. We don't have to agree, but I'm just being honest with us. Y'all don't understand this, but there are not really many quarterbacks in this league that could challenge Dak Prescott. There's definitely not a backup quarterback in this league that could challenge Dak Prescott. There are actually not many starters in this league that could challenge Dak Prescott. I don't care what kind of list they put together. Every one of those quarterbacks that they put on there are narrowly very few of those quarterbacks that could challenge Dak Prescott. And I'm talking about challenge Dak Prescott if you're going to give me same offensive weapons, same offensive weapons, same defense. And I'm not talking about no lallygag defense and offense. I'm talking about if you're going to give Dak Prescott the kind of roster that the Eagles had last year, and I think we're on our way to that roster. I don't think we're there. But because I think Dak Prescott is better than Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, Dak may be able to do some similar things with this roster because he's a better quarterback. Notice what I'm saying, quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a better runner than Dak Prescott. He's not a better quarterback. That's the difference. But James Houston, I thought it was very strange when Jerry brought him in. Because right around the time he's having this issue with Michael Parsons, and we know he's still having it, Jerry brings in James Houston. And I said this when Jerry brought him in. I said, uh-oh. Stu can rush the passer. I'm telling y'all, James Houston can rush the passer. Don't let nobody fool you. James Houston is not just a guy that was a failure. And that's the part people have to understand about James Houston's history. James Houston was not a failure. No. What happened to James Houston was an injury. It was an injury that set James Houston back. Had it not been for that injury, James Houston was absolutely, phenomenally balling in his rookie season. Let me read what they say about him real quick, and I'm going to see if I can pull up a quick article on his history of his rookie season. Y'all got to understand, man, this dude Houston is off the chain. James Houston is no slouch. It says Dallas is arguably deeper at defensive end than any other position. That is not by accident. You don't replace Michael Parsons. And I don't think they're trying to replace Michael Parsons. I think what they're trying to do is that what they've done, that if Michael Parsons holds out, they want to still be able to win. Because Jerry is threatening this. He's actually threatening this. Because Jerry is saying that when Emmett did this, understand, Emmett had led the Cowboys already to one Super Bowl. So they already knew that Emmett was that valuable. And so even when they signed Emmett, what happened? It got them another Super Bowl. They didn't win those first two games without Emmett. But Jerry has put in a failsafe that I said this before. You can't replace Michael Parsons with one player. But for all these people who keep talking about, yeah, man, you can't replace him with four players. Do what? You can't replace Michael Parsons with four players? Well, it depends on who those players are. It all depends on who those players are. You can't replace him with one player, but you may be able to get the job done with multiple players, rotations, keeping them fresh, different schemes. Man, we got to stop thinking the only player on a team, and he don't even have to be the best quarterback in the league. The only player on a team that normally handicaps a team is the quarterback. That is the only player that typically handcuffs a great team. If they got a great quarterback, he goes down, and the backup isn't even close, that handicaps the team. They become very limited. We saw this last year. They become very limited in the plays they can run. The wide receivers come very limited in the routes they can run. They become very limited in so many things they do offensively. It's a little bit harder to run the ball now. Nobody's afraid because you got a backup quarterback in. But when you're talking about an edge rusher, when you're talking about a linebacker, you're talking about a cornerback, when you're talking about defensive players, unless they are, and I'm not going to argue this generational stuff. I think generational is something that you have to continue to monitor. Because I don't think yet. I think Micah has the potential to be generational, but we're not quite sure yet. And the reason why I say generational, Charles Haley had go back and look at Charles Haley's stats. Charles Haley wasn't racking up no 12 sacks a season. No, he was just wreaking hell on every team he played. Every team he played, Charles Haley was hell. Charles Haley was a generational player. You had to know where he was. And even when you double teamed him, he still raised hell. He still was able to get to your quarterback. He was able to change games. We watched Charles Haley with the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers, as a matter of fact. We watched him change games. We watched him take over games. We saw it. We saw it. We saw those types of things from Lawrence Taylor. We saw those kinds of things from Reggie White. We saw those kinds of things in players like that. But when you talk about Michael, you can replace him with multiple players. And I'm saying that to say James Houston can rush the passer. James Houston isn't Michael Parsons. Duh. Nope. Not as good as Michael Parsons. But if you tell me you're going to put Dante Fowler on one side and you're going to put James Houston on another side, I want to see what that look like. You tell me you're going to put James Houston on one side, Donovan Ezeraku on another side, I want to see what that look like. You're going to put Donovan Ezeraku, you're going to put Sam Williams on one side. You're going to show me all these different looks. I want to see what those look like because I'm telling you, I believe with Matt Eberflus's system and what we have at defensive tackle in Oso Digizua, I believe the Cowboys are still going to be able to rush the quarterback whether Michael Parsons plays or not. Now, with Michael Parsons playing, they become an elite pass rushing team. But I can tell you this, we better stop fooling ourselves. This dude, James Houston can play. He can play. It says the Cowboys cannot ignore James Houston has been their best pass rusher throughout the preseason. He's been their best pass rusher. And it is not just his pass rushing. This dude, let me show you here. He was a 6th-round pick by the Detroit Lions in 2022. This dude here, James Houston, let's see if we can get this up here. This is the part that people miss about James Houston. James Houston, in the final 7 games of the 2022 season, Houston accumulated 8 sacks, 11 quarterback hits, and a forced fumble. James Houston can play. I'm telling y'all, James Houston can play. James Houston got lean. James Houston's got power. He got speed. He got a move or two. James Houston can play. It says here, recognition. His dominant performance earned him a spot on the Sports Illustrated Pro Football Focus top rookie grades list for 2022. James Houston, y'all, was already good. See, we don't realize this. James Houston was already good. James Houston IV makes Pro Football Focus 2022 top 5 graded rookies list. James Houston was already good, y'all. James Houston hasn't just gotten good. He's new to Cowboys fans. This dude been good. James Houston been good. James Houston got an injury, and that's why he is available for the Cowboys. I want you to look at the company that they put this dude in. They had this dude in the company of Sauce Gardner, Tyler Algier, Garrett Wilson, James Houston, Drake London. This dude can play, man. And I think the only reason why he wound up in the sixth round is that he's an HBCU player. I think that's the only reason why he wound up where he was. I'm telling us, man, James Houston can play this game. And a lot of people don't realize this guy's pedigree. Jackson State. I'm just telling you. Jackson State. If I'm not mistaken, Deion Sanders. James Houston can play this game. This dude is a baller. I'm telling us about James Houston. The Cowboys have a steal in James Houston. They unequivocally have to sign this kid. They have to sign him. James Houston, after what he's flashed and shown, see, I'm not going by last night. I'm not going by last night with James Houston. James Houston been doing this. James Houston flashed the moment he got in the preseason game. Everybody, wait, James Houston, who was that? Did a video on him when they first got him. James Houston can play. If the Cowboys try to put this man on the practice squad, I'm telling us Cowboy fans, he's not going to make it. James Houston is not going to make it. If I'm a team and I have if I believe I have a playoff team, I'm getting James Houston. Cowboys mess around and try to put James Houston on the practice squad. I promise y'all, he don't make it. He don't make it. James Houston is that good. The Cowboys, I don't care what they do. They must sign James Houston. Especially if they're going to continue this nonsense with Micah Parsons. And they're willing to take this into the season. And I told y'all last night about this league, man. Let me tell you something about this league. See, we think like fans. We don't think like players. I'm telling you how players think. There are players on this team that are saying, we need Micah Parsons to make us elite. But if I'm Sam Williams, I'm not saying that. This is a meritocracy. And as for many people that they try to make their claim to fame in what they do, they played football before. Well, then you ought to know exactly what I'm saying. Even though people don't act like they know what I'm saying at times, because I always laugh that I see people talking about, well, yeah, we love our guys. We'll criticize us by saying, yeah, you know, the Cowboys front office love our guys. And then them same people will be beating the table for guys they love. Guys who might not even be that good in the grand scheme of things, but they're beating the table for those guys. They're making cases for those guys. And I still say, as much as I appreciate work that people do on this level, we on this level are no match for scouts on the other level. We're no match. They're looking for stuff that we have never even dreamed of. And a lot of times the stuff these guys are talking about is true. But I'm saying all of that to say, if you think for a moment that Sam Williams is crying about Micah Parsons, there is one side of him that's crying for Micah Parsons. There's another side of Sam kneeling saying, do y'all know that every time there's a player that don't play, that's an opportunity for another player? What if Micah Parsons doesn't play? Sam Williams gets 2 sacks in the first game. James Houston gets 2 sacks in the first game. Cowboys get a combination of 5 sacks in the first game. James Houston is responsible for 2.5 sacks. James Houston, Dante Fowler, all of these guys, they're looking at this as opportunity too. You have to. The competitor in you has to look at this as an opportunity. This is a football business. It's a meritocracy, man. I want Michael on this team. But Michael not being on this team actually get me reps. Okay, I can't express that out loud. But I bet you this is me in my mind. I'm James Houston. Oh, okay. Get to play in the place of Michael a little bit tonight. Okay, against the Eagles. Okay. I'm getting me some sacks tonight. I'm going to show this team, and I'm going to show this league. No, it ain't about we can play without Michael. It's about the fact I can play this game. I can play this game too. I can rush the passer. I can get sacks. I can help on the run. I can do that too. Man, I'm telling you, this is a meritocracy. And I'm telling you, James Houston, he is the insurance policy. He is a part of the insurance policy that Jerry Jones has brought in. And I said it from the beginning. He's a part of the insurance policy. I don't think Jerry's going to do it. I'm still going to stay in this area. I just don't think this is going to necessarily. I just can't fathom Michael Parsons going into the first game of the season without a contract. I can't see it. I believe he's going to get signed. But I can tell you this, for all these people who think this team is not going to go on without Michael Parsons, you're fooling yourself. You're absolutely fooling yourself. Michael Parsons is not a ball-dominant player. Ball-dominant players affect you more than non-ball-dominant players. And while he makes you elite, Jerry Jones might be willing to say, how good are we without Michael Parsons? How good are we without him? And James Houston is a part of that equation. I'm telling y'all, James Houston can rush the passer. And even if the Cowboys do, and I know they're going to sign Michael Parsons, I say even signing Michael Parsons, it don't even matter. You have got to sign James Houston. James Houston is a difference maker. And I'm telling you, he is going to pay dividends. And especially if you have Michael Parsons. Man, this whole thing becomes, this thing becomes something that we don't even understand yet. The Cowboys could mess around and put 3 pass rushers on the field at the same time. Line James Houston up at the linebacker position. Let him come up the middle with Michael Parsons, Dante Fowler on the outside. The Cowboys are going to have so many different options with what they have. They got to do it. They got to do it, I'm telling you. My sister Brandy, I appreciate you. Brandy says she love me. I appreciate you. I love you too. My sister, my Cowboy sister. Appreciate you. I'm telling us, Brandy. We got to sign this man. We got to sign James Houston. There's another player on here we got to sign. And the reason why we have to sign him is not only is he good, but this dude has a very unique story. The second player the Cowboys must sign, Trayshawn Holden. I'm signing Trayshawn Holden on principle. You want to talk about a dude that's hungry? Now, a lot of people don't realize, if I'm not mistaken, Trayshawn Holden actually did sign a $2 million deal, y'all. He did sign a $2 million deal. But Trayshawn Holden only has $3,000 guaranteed. Trayshawn Holden has a chip on his shoulder because he did not get signed in the NFL draft. And now that Trayshawn Holden has been given his opportunity, Trayshawn Holden has absolutely flashed and shown that he can play this game. Trayshawn Holden can play this game. I believe the Cowboys must sign Trayshawn Holden. The hunger is there. The desire is there. And the skill set is there. And I really think the Cowboys need more of these players that got this, very hungry. They're hungry because they either didn't get drafted or something else came up to where they're not able to showcase their talent. Well, Trayshawn Holden has been blessed by God to be able to showcase his talent. The Cowboys have to sign Trayshawn Holden. Trayshawn Holden is going to make the Cowboys wide receiver room better because he is actually a competitor. This dude is out for blood, man. I'm telling you. Trayshawn Holden ain't caring about what the pecking order is. Trayshawn Holden is coming to take spots, and I believe he absolutely is going to try to take spots. That's exactly what you want. They must sign Trayshawn Holden. They must sign him. You want dogs. You do not get to get dogs on your team you don't get to get those every day of the week. You gotta get Trayshawn Holden. You gotta sign him. Third player, and then I'm gonna come to the comments. This player right here to me is a no-brainer. I don't know why the Cowboys wouldn't. They drafted him. 7th round draft pick. I'm telling you, Phil Maffa played hurt at Clemson last year. There were a lot of players. If you go back and dig in and study on Phil Maffa, there were a bunch of top programs that were begging Phil Maffa to transfer to their team. Phil Maffa, I'm telling you, Will McClay and these guys, they do great research. Phil Maffa, not injured. Phil Maffa, had he went to a top program in the country, I promise you Phil Maffa is probably he's probably a top 3 round back. He probably goes no later than a 3rd if he goes to some of these to some of the bigger schools. They were asking this dude to transfer. He didn't do it. Phil Maffa, when they put him in, you can just see where the ceiling. You're looking at him and you're saying, man, this dude you can just say, like, this dude, like, he got a little bit more. They got to let this guy get rolling. Man, this dude rolled through them, especially them paper mache Atlanta Falcons they had out there last night. Man, this dude, Phil Milton, was running through them almost like test drive dummies. I mean, Phil Maffa was running through them like test drive dummies. Shoot, Phil Maffa gonna be a monster. Look at how big this dude is. This is a big, bruising, bell cow running back. I would take him right now. Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. I'm rolling with Phil Maffa. If I were the Cowboys, I'm rolling with Phil Maffa. I'm rolling with Phil Maffa. I'm rolling with Jaden Blue. They're going to be my thunder and lightning. They're going to be my 1-2 punch. Maybe I keep Javonte Williams as kind of like the bridge to getting Phil Maffa to where I need him to be. But Phil Maffa, he's been impressive. It says rookie 7th round pick Phil Maffa has been very impressive throughout the camp and the preseason. The Clemson product has proven himself worthy of a roster spot, but there are concerns the Cowboys could expose him to waivers while keeping veteran Miles Sanders. They're crazy. They're crazy. The Cowboys would be better off letting Miles Sanders go out there on waivers. They'd be better off letting Javonte Williams go out there on waivers. And then if they don't get picked up, you can easily bring them back. But I promise you, if this dude, Phil Maffa, hits that wire, he's not coming back. He's not coming back. People know what Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams are. I promise you there will not be teams lining up to get Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. But they will be lining up to get Phil Maffa. They will be lining up to get Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa is an incredible, he is going to be, I believe, an incredible player. All right, let me read some super chats, and then I'm going to come down to the comments. I'm going to try to catch up in the comments. I appreciate y'all rocking with me today. 341 of y'all in here. Please hit that like button. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. All right, let's get these super chats in. I already got my man Mitchell Roman. USMC, salute. He said, I promise we're being bamboozled. He said they're going to cut Houston, Winfrey, Maffa. Watch it happen. Watch it happen. I'm starting not to trust this coach. Woo, man. USMC. I hope it's not true. Houston, Perrion Winfrey, and Maffa. They're going to contribute on this team if the Cowboys sign them. Man, Winfrey hungry, man. Perrion Winfrey trying to feed his family. Perrion Winfrey trying to feed his family, bro. I want this dude on my team. Man, this dude playing to survive, man. He ain't just playing to play. He playing to survive. I want Perrion Winfrey. I do think they're going to sign, but I do think USMC, I do think they sign Houston because I think Houston is a part of the insurance policy if Jerry decides that he's going to take this thing all the way with Micah Parsons. But USMC, I'm going to tell you this. If they don't if they don't sign Houston to the 53-man roster, that means to me, Micah Parsons will be signed any day. Micah Parsons will be signed any day. That's where I am. I'm going to take that stance on that. Star Guardian X says, if James Houston doesn't make it, I have questions. Me too. Me too. But Star Guardian, again, he has to make it. It would be insane for him not to make it. I'm telling y'all, James Houston is getting back into form. He had a foot injury, and it kind of set him back for a little bit. James Houston looks fully recovered from that thing, and I am telling us, nah, man. No, James Houston's going to be an absolute monster, especially with what we have. The rotation pieces, the combination of players that they're going to be able to put together on their defensive line. Boy, a player like James Houston. I mean, you're really talking about the Cowboys are on the verge of having an elite pass rush. An elite pass rush because of the pass rushers they have available. Rico Dorsey, appreciate that super chat. Woo! Rico Dorsey. Boy, you hit me with one. Woo! James Houston or Mozzie Smith? I'm kind of torn on the Mozzie Smith thing. I said this early on. I have a different argument about Mozzie Smith than other people. I don't think that Mozzie Smith can't play. I don't think that's ever been the problem with Mozzie Smith. I think the part that we don't want to accept is that maybe Mozzie Smith isn't the one tech for us. And I don't understand why that's not okay. I really don't. I don't understand why that is not okay. Mozzie Smith, it don't mean he cannot play. It don't mean Deuce Vaughn can't play. There are players that the Cowboys are going to release. It does not mean they're not going to be able to play. I just don't think that Mozzie Smith, this may not be the place for him. He may need to go somewhere where they actually appreciate him and they're going to really let him put in that work. Because I'll be honest with you, I just don't think the Cowboys are sold on him. I mean, I'm listening to Brian Schottenheimer last night. They let Mozzie play into the second quarter. And then when he's asked about Mozzie, there's a lot of competition on the defensive line. Really? Is it? Because if we're talking about one tech and one tech and three tech, is there really competition? Okay, you're talking about Oso Digizua. You're talking about Solomon Thomas. What are we talking about beyond that? Are you telling me that Jay Toya, a rookie, is really pushing and challenging Mozzie Smith on that level? Rico, if I were the Cowboys, I'm just going to keep it a beam. I would probably trade Mozzie Smith. Not because he's bad. I would trade Mozzie Smith because he doesn't seem to fit the Dallas Cowboys. And especially when you look at the fact that Matt Eberflus is going back towards the very type of defense in his rookie season that he didn't seem to fare well in. He seemed to fare very well in the Zimmer type of defense. Zimmer's defense is not like Eberflus's defense. I'm telling you, it's not. So I would probably trade him, but I'm keeping James Houston. I know what Mozzie is. I really think the Cowboys have kind of got in their minds, we know what Mozzie is. I think the Cowboys have accepted that Mozzie is not a one tech in this league. I think they've accepted it. I think they're saying, no, Mozzie might be more of a three tech in the pros versus he was a one tech in college. But the problem is, you already got a couple of good 3 techs. You got Solomon Thomas, who they're saying is looking way better this year. And of course, you got Oso Digizua. So why in the world, Brian Schottenheimer said they're going to be switching him back and forth between the 3 tech? Where's he getting those reps from? Rather than doing all of that to Mozzie Smith, how about trading him to a place that actually believes he can play the 1 tech? I don't understand why people see a problem with this stuff. Everything isn't about a player not being able to play. The issue is that player may not be able to play for you. Duh. But I'm keeping James Houston. I'm keeping James Houston. The Cowboys do not need to ever get in the situation they were in last year. Michael Parsons went down. Cowboys couldn't rush the passer. Michael Parsons don't sign this year or something happens. I'm confident with Dante Fowler, Donovan Ezeraku, Marshawn Nealon, and James Houston, they will still be able to rush the passer. Got to keep James Houston. Metro Roman, appreciate that super chat. $10. Yes, sir. Mitchell Roman, I do believe that Donovan Ezeraku is the long-term replacement for Michael Parsons. I believe that Michael Parsons, whatever deal he gets, this will be the last deal. This will be the last deal for Michael Parsons. The Cowboys are going to see what he is in his prime. They're going to try to get whatever they can get out of him from this age of 26 to 30, and I don't believe the Cowboys be signing. I don't think the Cowboys re-sign Michael Parsons. The Cowboys are going to try to make him a part of whatever this run is they're trying to do now, and they're going to be done with him. You watch what I tell you. And I do believe when I first saw Donovan Ezeraku, I said, and there he is. The replacement for Michael Parsons. His deal will be up by the time Michael Parsons' next deal comes around. The Cowboys, I don't believe, will sign. I don't think they'll re-sign Michael Parsons unless he's getting 20. He'll be having to get the Trey Hendrickson 15 to 17 sacks type of stuff. I don't think they'll re-sign him. I think they're going to try to make a run with him now, and this is going to be the one. Star Guardian X, what's going on? He said, hoping we find a kind of 1 tech after cuts. Appreciate that super chat, you and Mitchell Roman again. I do think the Cowboys are going to try to find a 1 tech. That's what I'm choosing to believe. But again, when you talk about these 3 players, the Cowboys have to sign these players. They have to sign them. They're too good not to sign. They give you so many insurance policies. I'm telling us, James Houston is not only an insurance policy if Michael Parsons don't get signed. James Houston is an insurance policy even if we do sign Michael Parsons. Because if something was to happen to Michael Parsons, you would still have James Houston. The Cowboys have got to figure out a way to keep this dude on the squad. These 3 players, I'm telling us, they are way too good for the Cowboys to be letting them go. I want to come to your comments, and then I want to cover this thing about Jerry's roster. Because I look at people, and I'm like, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. They're hating on Jerry Jones. I get it. The last 30 years. I get it. But I also noticed that have y'all noticed that Jerry is defending himself? Jerry is saying, no, there have been some teams that I have put together. They have been Super Bowl level teams. We just hadn't got it. We just didn't get it done. Tony Romo obviously admitted, because he had to be talking about during his own era. Tony Romo is saying that Jerry Jones has put together Super Bowl teams. And he's saying that for whatever reason, we didn't get that drive, we didn't get that play, we didn't have that quarter, and we didn't make it. This is Tony Romo saying this. And Jerry fully believes, I don't understand how he could believe that 2023 was a Super Bowl year. I don't understand it. Maybe it was because of the seeding. We were the number 2 seed. But when I look at those teams that were in there, we couldn't run the ball. We couldn't stop the run. I don't think there was going to be a way in 2023 I just don't think there was going to be a way in 2023 we were going to be able to advance. If you're going to lose in the trenches, you're going to lose in the playoffs. But nevertheless, Jerry feels like he's had teams that have been good enough to win. And people, I understand, you can have your own opinion on Jerry Jones. But this year in particular, I can understand the past. But I can't live in the past because I can't do anything about it but talk about it. The only thing I can live in is the present. And for as much as people are talking bad about Jerry Jones, you have to understand that in actuality, you're double talking. You're literally double talking. You're mad at this man because you say that this is like the same the last 3 years. I don't think it's the same, but if you want to have that opinion, you can. But when I look at what Jerry Jones has done, do we not realize that this preseason and the preseason game last night, when I look at some of these preseason games and the bubble players they have, it's like watching the Keystone Cops. But we got to give Jerry in the front office some credit. Our third team actually looked pretty good last night. Our third team actually looked pretty good against their third team. I mean, heck, people talking about we owe Joe Milton an apology for playing against the worst preseason, one of the worst preseason teams we've seen. No, we don't owe him an apology. No, okay, he looked better against inferior talent. Okay, let's keep developing him. And then next year when this comes back around, maybe we can have him looking good against second-string talent because he didn't look good against second-string talent, second-team talent against the Falcons or the Rams. So let's keep developing him. And next year, maybe he'll be ready for second-team talent. He'll have his footwork together. He'll have his eyes together. He'll have his touch together. He's got a quarterback's coach. He'll get better, and let's just see what happens. Because the only thing we're marching towards is Dak Prescott's into Dak Prescott's contract. But I'm not worried about that. We'll see where we are in 2028, the end of 2028, the beginning of 2029. But if Dak Prescott stays healthy, there is no universe where Joe Milton can challenge Dak Prescott. He can't challenge him. But in the grand scheme of things, for all you people hating on Jerry Jones, Joe Milton is Jerry Jones. Yeah. Joe Milton is Jerry Jones. Joe Milton has Jerry Jones written all over it. Jerry Jones wants that big-bodied, big-arm, running quarterback. Jerry Jones wants that, and it's obvious. For all of y'all talking crazy about Jerry Jones, because he will not sign or he has not signed Michael Parsons yet, y'all got to stop double talking. Y'all have to stop double talking to me. Because y'all want to put the whole Michael Parsons contract on Jerry Jones. But what you don't want to include Jerry Jones in is the construction of this roster, of which we know full well Jerry Jones has played a part in this. Jerry Jones has played a part in this roster, and there are certain players on this roster, they have Jerry Jones written all over. There are certain players, you just know, yeah, that was Jerry. Joe Milton, somebody said it in the chat and I copied it. Joe Milton has been playing like his father is the coach of the team. That's how he's been playing. Joe Milton has been playing with no pressure. None. Joe Milton has been playing with no pressure as if somebody told him, you're the second string quarterback on this team. You're QB2. Unless you just go out there and just wet the bed. Well, he did. He did more than wet the bed. He looked terrible against two second-team defenses. Y'all do know the Atlanta Falcons didn't even have a third-team defense out there. That wasn't even their third-team defense. We don't even know what that was. We don't know what that was Atlanta had out there. It was terrible. But it was a good game for Joe to get his feet together, kind of get his looks right. It was a good game for him to really, some of the things he's been working on the whole week, to put into practice. Okay, that's good. Improvement. But improvement don't come in just one game. Because I'm going to tell you what happens to people who make those improvements against sorry teams. The moment they get under the pressure, they revert back to what they were, because that's the only thing they know naturally. It takes time to instill in Joe Milton what they're trying to instill. But even with saying all that, for all you people who hate and continue to slander Jerry Jones, I mean, you're entitled to do what you want to do. But I'm just telling you, with the same mouth you're slandering him with, when are you going to start giving him credit? Phil Milton is Jerry Jones all over. I don't care what anyone says. Brian Schottenheimer was talking like somebody that had been instructed that Joe Milton is the QB2 for this team. That's exactly how he was talking. That's exactly how he's been talking. Joe Milton can do no wrong. Brian Schottenheimer at every turn has done everything he could do to protect Joe Milton's ego. Why do you think he's doing that? Why would we think he's doing that? It's Jerry Jones. And I want to look at this roster. I'm going to read some of your comments. I want to look at this roster. Because I'm telling you, for all y'all who keep hating, for everybody who wants to hate on Jerry Jones, so when are you going to start giving him the credit for the roster he's helped put together? When are you going to start that part? Because I'm like, I'm going to tell you, just me. Hey, man, if you're going to talk about me bad, if you're going to talk about the bad stuff I did, can you talk about the good stuff I've done? Did and done are two different things. I can't do nothing about what I've done other than just change what I'm doing. And Jerry Jones, no matter how much we hate it, Jerry Jones has done a lot of things different. And this Micah Parsons thing is even different to me. Because Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones aren't arguing in the way, or they're not negotiating in the way that we've seen that he negotiated with Dak and CD. No, Jerry is ticked off that he actually offered Micah Parsons an astronomical number. And I'm telling you, that number is going to be leaked and everybody's mind is going to be blown. Jerry is just saying something simple. And I keep saying it, and it's simple. I don't understand why people are making the dumbest argument. It is simple to me. Jerry is telling Micah Parsons and his agent, I am not allowing you, Micah Parsons. It's not that he doesn't want Micah Parsons' agent involved. Jerry is saying, I'm not going to let your agent come in and put more money on top of what I've already offered you. That's the part I'm not doing. We're going to see if he does it. We're going to see if he stands on business. Brandon Cup said, y'all let me know when a player beyond the 90s that played injured without crying about their hangnail and dominated the game, how Smith did against the Giants. Come on, man. We them boys. Dig me. I feel you. Andrew said, I've been pushing for Trayshawn Holden. I seen him in Oregon, a true dominant player, a true dominant baller. Yeah. Trayshawn Holden, I think, has proven himself. And the reason why, we're going to look at this roster in just a moment, Energy Plug, and I'm going to give you my logic in why I'm picking Trayshawn Holden. Yeah, Dominique Pittman said it's easy on this thing with James Houston. Quasi, what's going on? He said, I agree. Johnny Wood said facts. Yeah, let me go down a little bit further. The Newhouse fam, hold on a second. Let me go down a second. Regulate up in here, regulate. I'm going to let him regulate. Quasi said Houston, Holden, and Maffa will not clear waivers. We cannot cut them. Quasi, they're not going to clear. Cowboys better not play this game with those players. They're not going to clear waivers. If they do, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. I don't think they're going to clear waivers. They're that good. The Cowboys need to keep him. JP Bird, I agree with everything you are saying about Maffa, but Clemson is a very high-profile team. Yeah, they are. They are a very high-profile team, I agree. But I think that the teams that he may be referring to is, I'm thinking that he's talking about like Alabama, stuff like that. They will want him to transfer. They would want him to transfer to some of those type of schools. Stay with Clemson. Sure did. Stay with Clemson. Jaden Justin said, I think Sanders is a vested veteran. He wouldn't have to go through waivers, I think. Okay. And again, see, Jaden, that's kind of where I am. See, it would be smarter to me to release Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams than to release Phil Maffa. Because Phil Maffa, what I'm looking at with him, with my logic, is his upside. I'm looking at his upside. I already know kind of what those other two guys are. I'm glad they got some reps in training camp because they still need to compete. Bama Boy Davis. If I was the Cowboys, I would have kept Tony Pollard. You know what? I would have kept him before I franchise tagged him. I thought it was crazy the Cowboys franchise tagged him. There's no way. Ain't no way. Fat Boy Preach. Jaden Blue looked extremely good. That's why I said if it was me, Fat Boy Preach, I've already made my decision. I'm going with Thunder and Lightning. I'm starting that now. If I'm the Cowboys, Thunder and Lightning is in full effect. Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa would be my between the tackles, my power back, and I'm going to use Jaden Blue. I'm going to use him some between the tackles, but my goal is to get Jaden Blue on those edges. All right, let me see what's going on here. Mr. 1972 Chevelle, you obviously got a 1972 Chevelle, and that's a bad car. And I mean bad meaning good. What's going on, Mr. 1972? Lil D Texas, he said, I want Maffa to issue out Marion Barber. Woo, man. I think he can do it too. Issue out Marion Barber punishment to defenders. Keep him. I think he can. I absolutely think he can. Yeah. Yeah. Atkins Mitchell, he said, Atkins Michelle says, James Houston, a dog. Shoot, you don't get dudes like that every day. Cowboys got to keep him. Sean Springs said, come on, G, it's Maxie. I see you. Hey, Mr. 1972, this is one of the worst things they did to Mozzie Smith. I look at stuff from the logical perspective. It was one of the first things they did, messing with his weight and if he wants to really play. They should have never messed with this man's weight. If you're talking about Mozzie, I think they screwed him up messing with his weight. All right, let me go down a little bit further. Appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Uh-oh, the Big Rombowski up in here. What's going on? Big Rombowski said Mozzie's lackluster performance has left him untradeable. No other team is going to be willing to give up capital for him. The Big Rombowski, I can only think of one team. Los Angeles Chargers. Harbaugh likes his guys too. Maybe the Chargers would be willing to give us something for him. Now, you're not gonna get a third-round draft pick for Mozzie. And I think the Cowboys know it. He's a first-round pick, but you're not getting a third-rounder back for him. If the Cowboys try to trade Mozzie, they would have to be content with maybe getting a fifth or a sixth-rounder. They would have to be. My House City, you know what? You make a great point right here, too. They are afraid said player would leave and go somewhere else and ball out, so they hold on too long. That happens, too. Yup. That happens, too. Brandon Cup said Mike is great for us, although all the comparisons is no. Reggie had 11 sacks in one game in 89. Can't compare to that. I like Mike, although I like winning more. He has 12 sacks a year. And I want you to think about this. What does it say to James Houston against very good competition in his rookie season? James Houston had 8 sacks in his last 7 games. It's absolutely incredible. James Houston can ball, y'all, and I'm telling you. Just two James Houston can ball. The Rombowski said Jerry's team didn't get it done because they weren't near as good enough as he thought they were. I agree. And the good teams that year proved it. 100% agree. Now, let me tell you another part that Jerry is missing. For as much as I like Jerry, I'm going to tell you something that I saw in the documentary. It was comical. This part of the documentary was comical. If y'all have not seen America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, go see it. It's awesome. And I give Jerry Jones so much credit because Jerry Jones actually allowed them to get some things. Jerry Jones actually allowed them to get some things that I was kind of like, man, if this was me, I wouldn't have let this in. 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 And I'm like, Jerry really let some stuff in because Jerry even said at the premiere that after he watched it himself, he said that some of those things didn't paint him in quite a good light. So this is what I'm looking at. Jerry was trying to prove that he had a football mind. The thing that I find to be fascinating about Jerry Jones in that documentary is that Jerry Jones loves football. Loves football. Loves football. And so Jerry, you heard him on the in the Michael Irvin interview. He wanted to be a coach. It just didn't pay the kind of money that he wanted. Jerry Jones wanted to prove that he had a football mind. So when Jimmy got let go, they mutually agreed. Jimmy's contract is up. It's only a 5-year contract. Yeah, you can mutually agree, but Jimmy didn't get fired and Jerry didn't bring him back. Okay, you can agree to disagree. But the thing that Troy pointed out about Jerry and the film showed about Jerry is that Barry Switzer was actually kind of laid back in practice. And Jerry was on the field in shorts and t-shirt, out there trying to coach. I mean, it was mind-blowing to me. It was mind-blowing to me because I'm like, man, this is crazy. Jerry really wants to prove that he can coach if he wants to. And so Jerry, while Jerry has done a great job this year, and I think he's done a great job this year with the help of the people around him, but I think Jerry has been in la-la land with some of these teams that he's picked, thinking that those teams were championship-level teams. The 2020, just because you have championship-level players, don't mean you have a championship-level team. And so when I look at the championship-level team of the 90s, the one thing that Emmett, Michael, and Troy all kept trying to communicate, it wasn't just the talent that helped them get over the hump. It was the talent, but the primary driver was Jimmy Johnson and the mentality that he implanted in his team. Jimmy created a very tough, a very callous, a very crazy. Jimmy created, I'm telling you, my uncle used to train dogs. Jimmy trained dogs. Jimmy trained dogs. Jimmy is that dog trainer. Jimmy's that dog trainer while you're training your dog to sit, lay down, roll over, play dead, put his paws over his face. You teaching your dog how to be a finesse dog, and when everybody see your dog, oh, this is so cute, so well-mannered. Not Jerry. I'm not Jimmy. Jimmy was that dog trainer that you hated to see him coming with his dog. His dog, ready to fight your dog. Foaming at the mouth with saliva, ready to get at your dog. Holding this dog back, and everybody is trembling because they know if this dog get loose, we ain't got no chance. Looking like he ain't fed his dog in a day or two. Jimmy created dogs to go with the talent. And when you telling your dog to stop barking, Jimmy is saying, bark all you want to. Growl all you want to. Let them know you will bite them. You will bite them and you will eat them. Let them know. Jimmy put that mentality in his players. And that was the one thing I noticed. He put that mentality in those players. They were afraid to lose. They were afraid to lose. Jimmy came in the tail end after letting go of Jerry came in the tail end after let go of Jimmy. And when Jerry got out there and started playing around like he was a coach, in shorts, shirt, and a doggone baseball hat, hands on his knees. Come on now, give it, whatever. I don't know what he was out. It was funny to me. But Jimmy didn't know how to train dogs. Jimmy won't show dogs, not fighting dogs. And Jimmy won't let coaches, and we're going to see where Brian is. Jerry has yet to let a coach train dogs. See, Barry wins a Super Bowl without Jerry. Without Jimmy. I'm sorry, with all these J's, I had to keep correcting myself. Jerry was able to get that Super Bowl without Jimmy. But I'm going to tell you what my observation was. Jerry, what he didn't understand in 1994, going into the 95 Super Bowl, Jimmy did something that was not sustainable. And it's one of the reasons why we have had a hard time winning. It's not sustainable to win with talent alone. It's not sustainable. And the reason why it's not sustainable is that talent fluctuates. It's a football business. It fluctuates. While you may be able to lock down 4 or 5 players, you can't lock down the other 48 players. And so the other 48 players are fluctuating. And so you may not be as talented this year as you were last year. Or you may be more talented this year than you were last year. You may not be as talented this year as you were 4 years ago. And so because the talent is fluctuating, it's not sustainable to win. But what is sustainable, and this is the part that people don't understand, what is sustainable is mentality and culture. Culture and mentality are sustainable. They're sustainable. When you set a standard and you say, I don't care who walked through that door, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. And if you're not willing to give up everything for this, you can't come in here. If you're not willing to be physical, if you're not willing to be mean, if you're not willing to be crazy, if you're not willing to let your swag show, if you're not willing to get in the opponent's face, if you're not willing to talk, scream, lead, not just by example, but lead and hold your teammates accountable, if you're not willing to be all the way out there, you can't play here. Your talent is extra. We're looking for a mentality. And that was the message that I started getting from Michael and Emmett and Troy. Troy could not stand Barry Switzer because Barry Switzer was not the same Barry Switzer that coached him at Oklahoma. Barry Switzer Jerry brought in the country club with Barry Switzer. And Barry Switzer believed, you're a grown man. You're a grown man, and you ought to be able to be responsible for yourself, be responsible, do the right thing, be disciplined, practice and practice hard and blah, blah, blah. If you're not practicing hard, practice is adjourned. Let's go to the pool, hang out. We'll try to do it again tomorrow. It was not sustainable because the mentality was done. They got the 94-95 Super Bowl on talent. That's why Jerry brought in Dion. But the reason why it crumbled after Dion is because Jerry didn't have the man, not only who was helping him get the talent, but that wasn't Jimmy's biggest asset. Jimmy's biggest asset was the mentality he was instilling in the players that he was helping Jerry get. And that's the part Jerry missed. And Jerry, while he's brought in great players, Jerry will not allow the dog trainer back in the facility. Jerry put the cuffs on Bill Parcells. Jerry wouldn't let Bill Parcells be the Super Bowl winning Parcells. No. Hey, hold on. I seen this before. You trying to beat Jimmy up in here, huh? Y'all got to understand where Jerry was with Jimmy. Jerry despised Jimmy because Jimmy never gave him the credit. And Jimmy didn't look at Jerry as an equal. Jimmy didn't look at Jerry as a football mind. Jimmy didn't look at Jerry in that way. Jimmy just looked at him as in, you the business. I'm football. Jerry's been trying to prove he's football. Jerry got to accept that he's not football. For as much as I love Jerry Jones, but Jerry is not he's learned some things over time. And we're seeing in the 30th year, I guess it's the 30th year now, we're now seeing where Jerry is all of a sudden trying to revert back somewhat to where he was in 1990. But again, Jerry going to have to realize something. You can bring in all the talent you want to. What Jerry is going to have to let Jimmy do, let Brian Schottenheimer do, is you got to let Brian instill a dog mentality. A culture is sustainable. Talent isn't. And Jerry is missing the boat because he still tries to have that country club atmosphere. Bro, you can bring in all the talent you want to, but unless you bring in a dog trainer, it'll continue to be the dog and pony show rather than a dog fight. You need to start creating a dog fight, Jerry. You need to create a dog fight, not a dog and pony show. No. And that's what he's missing. Jimmy instilled the mentality. And that's why when the Cowboys literally ripped at the seams after that Super Bowl. The talent started to fluctuate. The 94-95 was not like the 92-93. The 92-93 was not just talent. It was mentality. Jerry Rice, let me tell you something. When Romanowski says that your team is a dog, when Romanowski says it, I believe it. Romanowski is one of the craziest players to ever put on a football uniform. Romanowski is bona fide crazy. That dude said the 92-93 Cowboys were juggernauts. Shoo. It was the mentality they were talking about, not just the talent, the mentality. Them boys would knock you in the dirt. Jerry keeps trying to make this about talent only. That's the part Jerry is missing. Jerry, you got the talent. Now you got to let Jim. Now you're going to have to let Brian Schottenheimer cook if he's able to. And I just don't know if Jerry will allow any coach. That's one of my knocks on Jerry. I don't know if he'll allow any coach to do what Jimmy did again. Because if he lets another coach do what Jimmy did again, then he gets nightmares about, well, I'm not getting any credit again. Because that type of coach, and I'm just going to tell you, when you start talking about literal dog types of players, they're egomaniacs. And you just got to deal with it. They're egomaniacs. Deion Sanders' ego is humongous. Deion Sanders has always had a humongous ego. But what's even bigger than Deion Sanders' ego is his talent. His talent and his mentality, they're bigger than his ego. Deion was the type of player that the circus, and I said this before, with Deion, the circus is because you win. See, that's Deion. Deion don't believe the circus is good unless he win it. Deion don't want the circus unless he win it. Deion don't want to brag. Deion wants to tell the truth. When Deion Sanders says, I'm better than you, Deion wants to be able to say that because he's telling the truth. That's where Jerry, again, is missing the boat. You got to get a coach and allow him to put a mentality in the players to where it elevates the talent rather than you only looking at the talent. This is why I'm telling you right now. See, Dak Prescott got some dog in him. We've seen this throughout training camps. Trayvon Diggs, Dak Prescott talking crazy, cursing each other out, all kinds of things. Dak Prescott has some dog in him. The problem is, you can't just have a quarterback with dog in him. You got to have somebody who puts that dog in all the players. Because Dak can't be the only one with the dog in him. CD and Dak can't be the only ones with the dog in them. CD, Dak, and also Diggy Zua. A handful of players can't be the only ones with the dog in them. The dog in them has got to come from the dog trainer at the top. And again, I don't agree with people when they say that beats overheard. Beats overlord. He said Jerry doesn't give a dang about winning. Yes, he does. Problem is, Jerry wants to win his way. Jerry wants to win his way. The same way he tried to prove to Jimmy, I can win. Hey, 500 other coaches can win with this team. Jerry said I could coach the mess out of this team. He was crazy. He actually couldn't coach. He actually couldn't coach. Jerry has brought in great players. Jerry is missing the part of the mentality you have to teach to win. Man, it's a different mindset that goes into winning. I'm just telling you. There's a fine line between bragging and telling the truth. I'm one of these people. I can just tell you this: what I do in my other life, or what I do as my profession. I don't have to tell people I'm good at it. Trust me when I tell you, I'm not bragging. I don't have to tell. Nobody has to tell me I'm good at preaching. And people in the church, they'll tell you. I'll tell them stuff like this all the time. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me I preach good, because I preach the word. And I know people are talking about the style that I preach into. They like the way that the style I preach, and they also like the way I teach when I preach. All kinds of things they like. But I know I'm good at that. So I don't have to show or prove I'm good at something that I already know I'm good at, because it's a God-given talent. So I don't have to have, I don't need it. Because it's not necessarily an ego, but it's a way you carry yourself when you know you're good at it. Then your expectations, the way you look at things, is totally different. You're not looking at things like you got to prove things to people. Your mentality is, no, I'm going to do what I do. No, I'm going to do what I do. I'm the best at what I do, and I'm going to do it. Jerry's got to understand, man, that's a mentality too. And that's what Jimmy was able to bring out of players. No, doggone it, you're one of the best at your position. Well, go out there and be the best at your position. That was Jimmy. Go out there and do it. And don't be afraid to tell people you can do it. Jimmy brought that country club atmosphere in here, and it hasn't left. It hasn't left. And I don't know if he's going to let Brian get it out of here. But he's brought that country club atmosphere in here, and it hasn't left. Brandon Cupp said, culture is what I feel Shotty and his staff are bringing. Got to give it a chance. That's why I said he's going to need a year. Brian's going to need a year. See, Brian going to learn being the coach of the Cowboys. You're going to learn to stop having the answer for every doggone thing. You're going to learn stop trying to be the smartest guy in the room. You're going to learn to stop trying to be so transparent. You're going to learn a whole lot of things because this media is going to take everything that Brian Schottenheimer has said and they're going to tear him apart. They're going to tear him apart if he doesn't come out and be successful. They are. They're going to tear him apart. And this is why, Brian, I understand now, even more so looking at the Cowboys, the behind-the-scenes stuff. And I'm like, I see what Brian is trying to do. Brian is trying to do some of this stuff the Cowboys did in the 90s. I see exactly what he's trying to do. The question is, will Jerry allow him to do it? Will Jerry allow him to do it? I can see some of the stuff Brian's been doing. Only thing is, Brian he's not willing to go. And this is why I said, guys, and I'm going to come to your comments. I just don't think there'll ever be another Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy probably needs to be studied. I'm just telling us, early Jimmy Johnson probably need to be studied at some university. Jimmy Johnson's brain needed to be studied early on because Jimmy is the poster child and the epitome of giving up everything for football. Brian Schottenheimer says stuff like, yeah, man, I'm big on my family. Yeah, I'm big on my faith. I'm big on relationships. I'm big on this. I'm big on that. Jimmy was only big on one thing, winning. Jimmy didn't care about any of that stuff that any of us care about. I'm not telling you to subscribe to what Jimmy subscribed to, but I'm just telling you after watching this documentary, Jimmy was a different type of animal. He gave up everything for the game, and he made sure that everybody around him knew how he felt and made sure that if you're going to play for me, you're also going to give up everything for the game or you're going to get your butt up out of here. Asthma, go to another field because we don't want you over here. Jimmy was different. And I just don't know if Jerry will. One, Brian ain't Jimmy. But I don't know, again, if Jerry will even let somebody do that. But again, talent is not sustainable. It fluctuates. But culture and mentality, shoot, ask Bill Belichick. There's a reason why Brady and those guys flourished under Bill Belichick. It was the structure that Bill had put in, the rigidness. Bill Belichick, old school coach, the rigidness that he put in. His team started to be a lot like him. Hey, man, do your job. You do your job, that means we're all doing our job. And we expect nothing but the best. Bill Belichick had the same attitude as Jimmy. Bill Belichick cut players a year early. Refused to pay players big money. He's got Tom Brady. He's got a lot of leeway to do certain things that most people wouldn't be able to do. But once he figured out he had a winning formula, no, Bill rode it until the wheels fell off. Culture is something that is sustainable. Talent isn't sustainable. Even me, guess what? One day, Father Time gonna get me. I'm not gonna be able to speak the way I used to, mannerisms, the energy. I'm not gonna be able to do it. It don't mean I'll lose my mentality as far as how I believe in God. I won't lose that. But the talent level, it's not sustainable even as an athlete because you get older. You sustain injuries and things of that nature. But the mentality, that's something you can always have. And Jerry doesn't understand. That's the one part he can't replicate as it applies to what Jimmy helped him do. He can't replicate the mentality. And that's why, again, after Barry and those guys won that Super Bowl, it was all based on talent. And as the talent fluctuated, that thing ripped apart at the seams. It was over. It was over. Bama Boy says Switzer was only here to pilot the plane that was already built by the captain. Bama Boy, I tell you this, that's not what those players said. Shoot, those players said they liked him. I remember it too. They were fighting for him. Yeah, they liked him. But the problem is the Barry Switzer model wasn't sustainable. I understand what you're saying. The Barry Switzer model wasn't sustainable. Because I don't even think he was piloting Bama Boy. Barry was the type of person that because he had the talent, Barry put it on cruise control. He didn't even pilot it. He put it on cruise control. Yeah, boy. Reality Cowboy said Jerry Jones be high as a MF, straight up gangster. Parsons and his agent. Yeah, Jerry going at him. We're going to see how this turns out. I want y'all to look at this real quick. Let me read a couple more. My House City said Jerry got to realize the credit comes from when that Munyon hits his bank account after winning the Super Bowl and not for building the team. Man, let me tell you something. That's where I am, Mile House City. You don't need to give me credit for doing anything. The credit is the fact that we won. Black Man said the Cowboys have to have that dog mentality on both sides of the ball. They do. And I think that's the part, Black Man, Jerry don't understand. Bro, you got to have that part. You got to have that part, man. If you don't have that part, boy, this becomes futility. Star Guardian Next, appreciate that super chat. He said, you said it, G. Pick is not possible without Jerry. Yeah, we about to run. Let's run through it. Let's run through this real quick. See, I'm going to give Jerry credit because for everybody that talks about Jerry in a subjective manner, you got to talk about him both ways, though. If you're talking about talent, Jerry has done it. George Pickens. Will McClay already said that's Jerry Jones. That's Jerry Jones and Brian Schottenheimer. Yeah, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones. When you look at this roster, just look at the draft they had. Tyler Booker. Just this year's draft. Tyler Booker. You look at the second level of players. Anybody want to take a wild guess? The very player who a lot of people are screaming about this season. Guess who idea it was to bring in Jonathan Mingo? Jerry Jones. Jonathan Mingo has Jerry Jones written all over him too. George Pickens, Jonathan Mingo, Jerry Jones. You keep going down this roster. Just talking about some of the things that Jerry has done this year. Got Cavante Turpin signed, of course. They brought in Trayshawn Holden. Everybody's screaming about Trayshawn Holden. When you go back and look at some of these players we brought in, the Cowboys have brought in a lot of players that we absolutely like. And in particular, they did a lot of this on defense. The draft was really good on offense. But when you look at them on offense, look at what they drafted. The Cowboys drafted Jaden Blue. They drafted they drafted Phil Maffa. They drafted Rivaldo. They signed Rivaldo Fairweather. They signed Princeton Fant. When you go back and you start looking, and don't let me forget, And then we get to the defensive side of the ball, and this is where I think that Jerry and his team did the most damage. They did get Oso Digizua signed early. They drafted Donovan Ezeraku. They signed James Houston. We're going to see if he's on the 53-man roster. They signed Perion Winfrey. We'll see if he's on the 53-man roster. They drafted Jay Toya. They kept Mozzie Smith. For as much as people keep hating on Mozzie Smith, Jerry has kept him on the team, and Brian Broaddus alluded to as much. They went and got Solomon Thomas. They went and got Dante Fowler. They went and got Peyton Turner. They went and got, when you look at the defensive side of the ball, they drafted Shamar James. They went and signed Justin Barron. Y'all remember that name. Justin Barron is going to be a big-time player for the Cowboys, I believe, next year. They went and got Jack Sanborn. They went and got Kenneth Murray Jr. They went and got Kyer Elam, who I think is going to be huge for the Cowboys this year. They signed Savon Revel Jr. They signed Troy Pride Jr., who has shown some flashes. Of course, they just signed Michael Ojemudia. The Cowboys signed Marquise Bell. Again, they signed Savon Revel Jr. right there. When you look at what the Cowboys have actually done, don't let me forget Zion Childress. Can't remember where he is on there. People don't understand. They went and got Brendan Aubrey even a few years ago. Don't even give us credit that we have the best kicker in football. When you look at everything Jerry has done as far as building the roster, we're literally beating this man up because he has not signed Micah Parsons yet. Not that he's not going to sign him. He hasn't signed him yet. I'm sorry, but Jerry and his front office has done a bang-up job this year. They've done a bang-up job. They've done such a good job that when you look at our third team last night, the Cowboys are going to struggle. The Cowboys are going to struggle to get this team to a 53-man roster. And I got bad news for us. Y'all do know we can't keep all these people, right? We can't keep them all. The Cowboys have literally put together a roster that is so good that we're going to probably be upset at probably 3 or 4 players they're going to have to let go. They can't keep them all. It goes to show you the one thing that Jerry has done a good job of is the talent. Now let's go to the mentality that people won't give Jerry Jones credit for. I believe that he's trying to use Brian Schottenheimer to bring in a different mentality than the Cowboys have had over the years. Now, everybody's hating on Jerry, while at the same time applauding Brian Schottenheimer. Well, if I'm Jerry, you're going to give me my doggone credit. Because I am the one, and Jerry made it clear, I hired Schotty. Jerry made it blatantly clear, I hired Schotty. I'm sure Stephen Jones was a part of this too. But Jerry Jones hired Schotty. And Jerry Jones, every time he talks about Brian Schottenheimer, he glowingly talks about it. Look at the coaching staff. We're always talking about this coaching staff and the coaches. Jerry brought that. Jerry and Steven brought in those coaches and that coaching staff. The coach and his coaching staff. I think Jerry, and we're going to see how this turns out, but I do think Jerry is trying to offer a compromise. I don't think Jerry is willing to go all the way back Jimmy Johnson. I don't think he's willing to do it. I don't think he's willing to go back full Jimmy Johnson. I don't. I think I think he's afraid of full Jimmy Johnson. I think he's afraid of it. But what I do think he's doing, I think he's trying to have a happy medium to where he believes that maybe Brian is the parts of Jimmy that he liked and not the parts of Jimmy that he didn't like. To where Brian is trying to bring in a culture trying to bring in some toughness, trying to bring in a brotherhood, trying to bring in some of the things that Jerry liked about Jimmy, while leaving out the stuff of, I get all the credit. Jerry gets no credit. I did it all. He's trying to make a compromise and see if Brian Schottenheimer can be that, quote unquote, can he be that happy medium? Can he be that happy medium of the things I liked about Jimmy and not be the things that I hated about Jimmy? I think that's where we are. And so at the end of the day, all we can do is see how it turns out. But I'll tell you this, I give Jerry credit. I can give Jerry credit objectively. And then as you just heard me again, I can tell you where I believe that Jerry failed and doesn't understand, which Barry is showing that now maybe he's getting it. I mean, Brian is showing maybe he's getting it because he's allowing Brian to instill a culture. So we're going to see how it turns out. We're going to see how it turns out. But I tell you this, I am absolutely ecstatic about this season. And I am very interested to see what does this roster that Jerry Jones has helped put together, what is it going to look like when we get it on the field? And I do think it's going to take this team a little bit longer than some of us may want. But I do, I want to give this team the leeway. I want to give this team the leeway to be able to get that toughness. I want to give them the leeway for Brian to implement that culture. I really do. So that's why I said, even though I do not agree with the thing that they did with Joe Milton, I do not agree with that. Wholeheartedly, I don't agree with that. But I'm still riding with Brian Schottenheimer. I'm riding with Brian. I like a lot of things I'm hearing. I like a lot of the things I'm seeing, even if I don't agree with everything. Even if I don't agree with everything, I like some of the things he's doing. All right, let me go to the comments, and then we're going to go to this thing with Jerry. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing with Jerry and Steven, but there's a couple of things that Jerry is saying within his conversation with Stephen A. Smith that I believe that Michael Parsons and his agent, they are drawing some serious lines in the sand, and we're going to see how these things turn out. Let me see here. Black man said, touch not my anointing, and do my prophet no harm. Preach, my brother. I appreciate you, black man. I appreciate you. All right, let's see here. Alfredo says, you're so right, G. Me and two friends of mine were good at playing wheelchair football, so good, in fact, that we once beat 3 other disabled jokers who challenged us to a game, 70-0, and we knew it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Q-Town dude, what up? Robert Kraft getting messages, not interviews. Straight facts. Straight facts. Brandon Cup says Shotty gets coach of the year, and we do go on a Super Bowl run as long as Jerry lets Shotty coach his way. I think he's going to do it. I do. I think he's going to do it. Demetrius said, you think CD got dog in him? I do. I do. And I think he's gotten it. I think he got it at the end of last year playing hurt and listening to him talk this year. He sounds like he got the dog in him. Mile High City, yes, sir. Father Time is undefeated. And I think that's what Jerry doesn't understand. Jerry, it take a dog, man. It take a dog to win a dog fight. These other teams are trying to build dogs, man. You gotta have a dog too. Gabe said Atlanta Falcons played so bad last night that I've already cut 12 players. Man, I showed that at the beginning. Them boys didn't wait, man. They just put together a team out there just to fulfill the last preseason game. Somebody had a very good idea. The NFL have made they've made the preseason into a joke. It might be better for them to go to 2 preseason games and 2 scrimmages and then get into the season. Have controlled practices, and just make sure nobody gets hurt and go into the season. Ace Wade said Brian Schottenheimer is going to meet with Michael Parsons about his behavior in last night's game. I think he is too. Yeah, I think he is too. Brandon Cupp said all 11 players on offense is dangerous. So dangerous. Too much of us is dangerous. Yeah, they're gonna. And from what I heard, he wasn't actually sleeping on the table. Some people said he was barely on there, but we'll see. Chris Akane said thoughts on Javonte Williams. I think he's going to be the starter starting out the season, but I think this running game is going to give away to Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa. I think that's kind of where we are. Now, when we start looking at this interview, like I said, I'm not going to watch the whole thing. But Jerry is dropping some haymakers in this thing, man. And Jerry is not playing with this thing with Michael Parsons and his agent. Let's check out some of this real quick.
It seems that what you used to do, that used to work, not only isn't working, but hasn't worked for quite a long time. And
You know your business better than anyone, right? So why not build an app to run it with
When things are not going good, and why don't you grab Micah? You're a big fan of his. Think a lot of him, and I do too. Why don't you get him in here? Be sure and pick up what I offered him. Be sure and pick that up when you come through the door on that deal right there. There's right now about 3 entities involved in the.
Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but as I'm listening to Jerry Jones is really digging in on David Mulugheta. And Jerry Jones is saying something that people have got to accept. Jerry is saying, I got receipts. Jerry is saying, I got receipts. I can show you this contract. He's already said it to Michael Irvin. Now he's telling Stephen A. Smith, grab that contract when you bring in Michael Parsons. I got receipts. I got receipts on everything I'm saying. He's basically saying, I'm not making this up. I got receipts. Y'all been thinking I've been making this up. No, Jerry's saying, I got receipts. I got receipts on what I offered him. And when you see what I offered him, you're going to say, wow. And he turned that down. Jerry isn't saying he doesn't want Michael Parsons' agent involved as much as he's saying, I'm not going to let David Mulugheta come in and add anything on top of this contract.
Michael Parsons deal that really count, and that's not to dismiss everything about the organization and the Cowboys.
what are the 3 entities?
Micah, me, sitting out there, and about a mile back is that agent. These are the 2 to get it done. Always has. And these are the 2 that be sitting there working it out when it hits the fan, when it's not between the lines on that contract. That's why I'm going to do it.
Now, I want to give even more clarity to something that Jerry is saying. What do y'all think David Mulugheta is in the Deshaun Watson issue and the Christian Wilkins issue? What do y'all think David Mulugheta is? Do y'all think that David Mulugheta is telling the Cleveland Browns, I'm sorry about Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry we fleeced y'all for 200-something million guaranteed dollars. I'm sorry that he hasn't touched the field for y'all since he's had the contract barely, and it looks like he's going to get out of here and won't even play 25 games on a contract that was fully guaranteed. I wonder, did he start talking to the Raiders? I wonder, was David Mulugheta there talking to the Raiders when the Christian Wilkins issue came up? And now he's fleeced the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders. He's now fleeced the Las Vegas Raiders out of, $100 million plus. Where is he then? This is what Jerry is talking about. And I don't think he has a problem. Because if you listen to him, he's saying money hasn't been the problem. He's saying, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let his agent come in and pile on his part. No, if he going to get a part, it's going to be a part of what I've already offered Micah. It will not be It will not be anything additional. That's what he's saying. I don't understand why people don't understand that part. This isn't about not wanting to sign Michael Parsons. Jerry Jones wants to sign Michael Parsons. He wanted to sign him a few months ago, and he wants to sign him now. Jerry is saying, but what I'm not doing, I am not going to allow Michael Parsons to sit down with me, negotiate a detailed deal to where I even type it up, send it over to his agent, and then for his agent to come back and say, I'm going to put something else on top of it because I got to put my part on top of it. I don't blame Jerry for saying, you ain't doing that. You're not doing that. I'm not doing that. Jerry even says in this particular interview, he told Michael at the end of OTAs, he told Michael, tell your agent to call me. Jerry dropping receipts.
What exactly happened with you and Micah Parsons that has you in this position where you're so resolute in your stance right now? Exactly what happened?
First of all, I just asked Michael Irvin to grab Micah and come over and let's talk it over.
I agree.
Let's look at it.
I'm talking about what happened last March.
But I'm just saying, that's not resolute.
Okay.
And you have to take my word we did that. But here's my whole point, is that there is no question that we have negotiations, contrary to the agent's opinion that we're not negotiating. Mm-hmm. There's no question that we are, in the sense that he knows full well what I'll pay. Mm-hmm. Knows full well.
Now you catch what Jerry just said? David Mulugheta already knows what Jerry agreed to. He knows what Jerry agreed to. And it almost sounds like to me that Jerry is saying that they are almost complicit in a scam for Michael to come into his office. And y'all better hear what I'm telling you that he's saying that Michael did. I haven't heard anybody else say this. I'm just drawing this conclusion from what Jerry is saying. Jerry is saying that Michael came in, negotiated a deal, and Mulugheta full well knew Michael was going to, I guess, negotiate this deal, that Mulugheta is fully aware of it, and then is trying to come behind it and play good cop, bad cop, whatever you want to call it. He's trying to come behind him and say, hey, now Michael negotiated that without me. Now that we know you will pay that much, now we want you to pay this much. I don't blame Jerry Jones for saying, no, bro, y'all not finna do this. Y'all not about to do this. Because I was challenging RJ or Showa last night, or one of these media guys, and I wasn't challenging him as much as I was challenging the guy who now wants to be the new NFLPA representative, I guess. He's saying that a grievance should be drawn up against Jerry Jones. But let me show you the fallacy in what he's saying and anybody else is saying on this whole grievance issue. And I believe this is fully the reason why they haven't brought up a grievance issue. So explain to me how it's illegal for Jerry to talk to Micah, but it's not illegal for Michael to talk to Jerry if he wants to. Is it illegal for Jerry, if it's illegal for Jerry to talk to Michael without his agent, then what is the penalty for Michael talking to Jerry without his agent? Is there a penalty? Because I thought the player could easily negotiate their own deal. And I don't believe for a second that if they couldn't, Jerry would be doing this. I don't think Jerry even does it if he knew he couldn't do it. And the reason why there hasn't been a grievance filed is because the NFL knows, in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing he can do. If Michael Parsons took upon himself to negotiate with Jerry Jones, there is nothing anybody can do. And you can't even, so you file a grievance against Jerry. Okay, what's the penalty? You're going to make him sign Michael Parsons? What are you going to make him sign him for? You can't make Jerry sign Michael Parsons. This is why people, when they talk about this grievance, they don't understand this stuff. They don't understand the law. Jerry is within his full right to do what he's doing. Jerry isn't dumb, y'all. Jerry isn't dumb. If Jerry thought there was some kind of violation, Jerry would not be doing this. Nobody can make Jerry, I'm just telling y'all, nobody can make Jerry sign Michael Parsons for any amount of money. Nobody can. Brandon Cup said Mulugeta and Michael aren't understanding that Mulugeta gets his from Michael, not from Jerry. Brandon Cup. And that's why Jerry is saying, nah, bro, y'all running a scam. Y'all are running a scam that you actually allowed Michael Parsons to come in and negotiate his deal so that you could then come back after you got him to get me to agree to an astronomical deal. That then you gonna come on the back end of that deal and say, but I didn't negotiate it, so now you're gonna up the price. Jerry is saying, no, I'm not falling for that trick. Because in reality it's almost like he's saying that Michael Parsons was or is complicit in this scam. This is literally a scam that Jerry is saying. It's a scam. It's crazy to me. I understand exactly where Jerry is coming from. I'm telling you, that's why he's so dug in on this. And he just said it. David Mulugeta already knows what the number is. So let's not play dumb like David Mulugeta isn't already aware of what Jerry Jones has offered Michael Parsons. And Jerry is actually speaking very logical. Jerry is saying this is a negotiation because he already know what the number is. It's a negotiation because he's wanting me to come off that number and I'm not doing it. That's where we are. And that's why Jerry is saying everything they're doing, Michael taking the Cowboys, now he's taking the Cowboys off of social media. Now he's putting up these cryptic posts, hanging out at the game, and kind of clowning and things of that nature. I'm sorry, that stuff to me is more distracting than the Cowboys not signing him. Man, if you're going to be around a team, bro, function as a leader. Function in a leadership role. Don't function in a capacity where I don't know who told you to do this. Hey, make sure whenever they see you on the sidelines, make sure you frowning. Make sure you got bad body language. Make sure you leaning over like you're bored. Make sure you're looking out in the space. I don't know who Michael Parsons' advisors are, but it's shameful. Bro, I understand you want to get your money, but the behavior is shameful. Robert M. said Mulugeta's thinking, I'm here now. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. Jerry saying, guess again, player. And you know what's crazy? Robert M., let's think about this. If Jerry was going to make Michael the highest paid around March in guaranteed money, that tells us right off the rip, he surpassed Myles Garrett. Right off the rip, he surpassed Myles Garrett. The only milestone could be TJ Watt. But Jerry is saying, I don't care what it is. I am not going to allow you to come back. I'm not going to allow you to come back and get any extra money. He's saying it. That's what he's saying. I'm not going to let you do it. All right, let's look at this real quick. And I'm having a hard time believing that Jerry didn't actually surpass this number. Look at this right here. They've updated it. So look at this right here. TJ Watt got an extension. Total value of the extension is $123 million. But I've already said this before. I care nothing about this front number. I care absolutely nothing about that front number. That front number to me is a joke. That front number is for people who don't understand contracts and money to go, ooh, look at that. How is it that the total value is less than Myles Garrett, but TJ Watt is in front of Myles Garrett? Simple mathematics. Myles Garrett, average 40 a year. TJ Watt, 41 a year. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Let me blow it up for you. Total guarantees. Myles Garrett, total guaranteed, 123. But let's be careful with total. That's still with some other qualifiers. This is the number I'm concerned with. What is the fully guaranteed money? It's the only thing I'd be concerned with. Myles Garrett has the most total guaranteed, which means that isn't fully guaranteed. But TJ Watt won the battle. He got 20 more million guaranteed than Myles Garrett. That's how you do a contract. And if anybody would have ever seen TJ Watt's first contract or the contract before this one, he did the same thing on that one. TJ Watt's agent worked out the most guaranteed money. So that tells me that if Jerry Jones is saying that it was the most guaranteed money, and I'm going to take that as fully guaranteed money, it leads me to believe that Jerry, at the least, is at $100 million fully guaranteed. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually passed TJ Watt and maybe even had him at $110 million guaranteed. But at the end of the day, it couldn't be less than Myles Garrett. So it has to be somewhere between 88 and 108. Somewhere between 88 and 108. And I don't even know if Jerry even has a problem giving him 109. Because I don't know what the other number is. It could be more than 108. But Jerry is basically saying, nah, bro, I am not going to allow you to scam me on that dollar amount and then have your man David Mulugeta come up in here talking about, no, we need more money.
Okay? What we'll pay him. So there's no question that that's going. I'm very comfortable with that. Now let's look at the paperwork. I have Micah for 3 more years.
Jerry's threatening right now. Jerry is saying, I'll let him play 3 years.
I've got him under contract this year. I can franchise him the next year, and I can franchise him the next year. I have him 3 more years. Now, if you summed up what I'm going to pay him through what I'm going to pay him this year and those 2 years, it is much, much, much less. How about 60% of what I offered him?
Oh my gosh, what kind of money did Jerry Jones offer Micah Parsons? He's saying with $25 million. Jerry's trying to give us numbers. Let me see. Let's see if we can find Michael's projected. Let's see if we can find this. Because I'm telling you, man, Jerry is saying something crazy right now if this is true. Let me see here. I thought we had saw this before. I'll have to see if I can find it. Because they were talking about this thing with the franchise tag, saying that Jerry would definitely that Jerry would come out cheaper on franchise tags. But he's saying that he actually offered Micah so much money that the franchise tags would be 60% less than what he offered him. I got to know the years. I would have to know the years on that.
To grab Micah and come over and let's talk it over. How about 60% of what I offered him?
Whew.
Please tell me that's not how you create SOPs.
Okay, so that would be 60% of what he
I
was
use
offered.
Scribe. It's super easy.
So
Just download
40%
Scribe,
less.
click start, do the process.
So I'm pointing out that there's a way that you look at it. What is this all about? What is this about?
That's what I'm getting to.
Stephen A., is that I'm going to say 12, 15% of the players in the NFL get 2/3 of the money. So that means that you've got to, when you start talking about these hundreds of millions of dollar commitments to a player,
Yeah, I think he's always been as
you
great
got
as
to
his
make sure
agent.
you're right. One miss in that area makes up for paying 3 or 4 Pro Bowlers that are paid less than that out here. Those are critical things. That's why Dak Prescott's got all put together in the way that it did, with the deliberateness that it did. And that's why it took us 2 years of just these same circumstances to get to his contract. That's with Dak Prescott. That's been my experience.
I'm going to come at you with it like this, because you are my buddy. I'm unapologetic about that. That's right.
I'm not
The only
about
way to get
Stephen A. He
a
says that
non-quarterback.
Michael is the best player on the team. I disagree, and
That's
Jerry
where we
didn't agree
are.
with him either.
That's
But-
where we are.
but, Jerry-
But because a third party, rather than me and Micah,
Right.
has got to come in. Why? Because he's got to get his fingerprint on it?
Come
Okay?
on, Jerry.
Come on, please, please. He's got to get his fingerprint on it? All right? You tell me. I'm just telling you.
Right.
Okay?
I'm not
Because
challenging
He
you.
wasn't there. Well, I'm just telling you, though. I'm not challenging you either. But there's no need for him to come into this agreement except to look at all of the details of the agreement and all the fine print and all of that. But then he's got to sit here and say, well, is that something that Mike ought to live with? Or should he take playing under this year's contract and be franchised for 2 more years after that?
But Jerry-
Which one?
But Jerry, you told me, think about this. Let's backtrack. Last year we're talking, and you're talking about life and how beautiful life is. You know, having purview over the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, being the GM of the Dallas Cowboys, being around young folks, keeping you young. And there's so much stuff that youngsters don't get. And how the world has changed and how you've had to evolve with these changes. Micah Parsons is not 50. He's 25, 26 years old now. He wasn't around. So when you were doing things the way that you have always done it, he wasn't even born yet. He doesn't know. So he comes into this world now. He has representation. They're telling you, this is how business is done these days. All of the other owners capitulate and adapt to that because they recognize these kids are not what they used to be. It's changed now.
Can I interrupt you
Sure.
a second?
Please.
You're not talking to the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. You're talking to the general manager of the Cowboys. And so all these teams, owners, may not be involved. But in this case, I am the general manager. My job is to do the contract. My job is to sit down. What is at issue here, Stephen? What's at issue is not whether I should be negotiating the contract. The issue is who I negotiated with. I'm standard. I'm operating in my shoes here. I'm the general manager and have been since I bought the team. So I negotiated Herschel Walker. I negotiate all the contracts.
That's right.
Okay. Do I have a lot of help? Do I have plenty of
Yeah, Jerry's just basically saying, man, he's not going to let David Mulugeta come in and do anything extra. Let me see. There's a couple of pieces. There was another piece on here I want to get to. Let's see.
Winning the Super Bowl in order to pull it off.
Do
and
you
I've never
agree
seen
that he
anybody
wanted
that
more?
upset.
Do you agree that he wanted more than that?
Yeah.
Okay. When one gets it in the NFL player, it's dollars his teammate does not get. Do we agree on that?
We do agree on that.
Okay, there is a limit as to what you can pay. Should I to be doing my job, not win the award on getting the contract signed, I should be winning the award on trying to get it balanced so we can have all the players that we can afford. Okay, great players, yes, but more importantly, how about putting some players out there that can win a Super Bowl?
And here we go again. Jerry is simply challenging Michael Parsons on a statement that he made in November. Michael Parsons said it all depended on who Jerry was trying to put around him. Well, if you've looked, I've already showed you the roster that Jerry has put together. Jerry has put some great pieces around Dak Prescott, put some great pieces around Michael Parsons, and he's still trying to work on getting Ty Smith signed, Deron Bland signed, and doggone it, we got to get Brandon Aubrey signed. I mean, Jerry is saying, man, I got to get more players signed. I think that Jerry is going to have to figure out on some of these deals, though, and look at some of the stuff that Howie Roseman does. And I think the part that Jerry is having a hard time wrapping his head around is Jerry doesn't want to not be good for a certain period of time anymore. He just don't seem to be willing to do that. Because, again, Jerry can remember the dark years, and Jerry doesn't want to do it. But I got some more. I'm going to do a video on this. There's some other things in here. I should have earmarked it. But, again, I'm just kind of putting all this stuff together, two and two together. And I just believe that Jerry Jones has really put a good team around. Jerry Jones has really put a good team together. The question is will Jerry Jones allow Brian Schottenheimer, as the saying used to go, they said let Russ cook. Question is, will he let Brian cook? Son of John said the question is, how many players on the Cowboys does Mulugeta have? It's not so much how many does he have. It's how many does that agency have that Mulugeta is with. And he's got quite a few of them. I did something on this. Let me see if I can pull it up. All right, let me pull it up for you. I'll show you real quick, and then we'll move into the last segment. We'll move into the last segment. I'll show you how many of these players that the Cowboys, and I'd already said this earlier, they're really fighting against this agency. And I don't know if they're going to be able to win, but I can tell you this. Jerry's going to have to stick this out, because if he don't, Jerry's going to be looked at as a joke. And every time somebody go up against Jerry, the only thing they're going to be able to do is just say, but he ain't going to follow through. He'll do all that stuff right there. He'll do this, he'll do that. And then at the end of the day, all he's going to do is cave in. And if that's the case, all of this is for naught. But Jerry seems to be pretty dug in on this. We'll see how it turns out. Jerry seems to be pretty dug in. All right, let's see here. These are the players that are up under this doggone these are the players. Athletes first. Dak Prescott, of course. David Mulugeta got Todd France. Jay Panos and Todd France got Tyler Smith. Brandon Aubrey got Todd France. George Pickens has Trayvon Smith. Tyler Godden has Joe Panos. Malik Hooker has Mulugeta, so y'all better get ready. Malik Hooker won't be here whenever that contract comes up. Dante Fowler has Kierman and Pomvanelli. Damone Clark, multiple agents, whatever that is. But again, thankfully, George Pickens, even though they work for the same agency, I mean, you got to understand. David Mulugeta, man, this is about reputation for him. This is about David Mulugeta's reputation. He got fired by T. Higgins. So, now he's going to come back on the Michael Parsons deal. He's going to circle back around, and he's going to show his clients, I might have got fired by T. Higgins, but look what I got for Michael Parsons. This is all a game, man. They're playing the game. They are definitely playing a game. And so we're gonna see how it turns out. But I'm still confident. I am still confident. That Michael Parsons is going to get signed. Okay, so let's look at it over here on X before I do this final thing. You know what? Matter of fact, we'll let this be the outro of the show. We'll include this into the breaking news. Let's do this last little thing here. I'm going to put together something a little bit more detailed on the Jerry Jones, Stephen A. Smith thing. But I want to look at what 105.3 The Fan said about this game last night. It's only about 10 minutes. We'll check that out. Then we'll finish out with the breaking news. Breaking news. We'll call it breaking news from Clarence Hill. All right, let's check this out.
Okay, I got some questions for you guys, and I'm going to ask you to play pro personnel director of another team. I'm going to ask you to play.
That's one of my favorite games to play, dude. This is awesome.
You're going to be pro. I'm going to ask you a question about some players, and you're going to have to sell this player to your staff, your general manager. But I'm going to ask you in the way of a guy that you've been watching the Dallas Cowboys, and you give me the guy that you want to trade for. Okay? I'm going to go.
So I'm another team trying to poach Cowboys?
You're from another team. You're from another team. I'm going to ask you a question about you're going to trade. I'm going to give you a position, and you're going to give me now we're thinking about like the backup guys. Mm-hmm. We're trading backup guys. You know, that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to try we're looking at backup guys to pick up here. But I'm going to give you a position after a couple of questions I ask you. And then you tell me what player you want, and then we're going to try and determine what's the best player for somebody to trade for. We're going to determine who the best player is for the Cowboys to probably go get out of all our discussions, okay?
All right.
Does that make sense, you guys?
Kind of, yeah, absolutely.
Let's get into it.
All right. Eric, you're the well, how about this? I'll start with Wolchuk. He seems to understand the game maybe a little better here.
Ooh, wow, shots fired.
In your face. No, I threw
the kinda in there.
I
really don't understand it.
You were like,
Wolchuk's an understanding kind of guy.
I don't get it at all.
All right, Wolchuk.
He leads the league in understanding.
Wolchuk, you're the pro personnel director for a team.
Crap.
Didn't even consider me, Chief. Look in the bright side.
I always go to you third, Dawson. You know that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh no.
You could trade for a backup offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Which backup offensive lineman are you going to trade for? And tell me why you're going to trade for that guy.
You know what? I think if you're looking to trade for a backup offensive lineman from our Dallas Cowboys, the guy that you really should go get is TJ Bass.
Okay.
You know what? TJ Bass is a guy that is just right on the verge of being a starting caliber offensive guard. He can play left. He can play right. Even gives you a little bit of center ability as well. So
I'm not trading TJ Bass or Brock Hoffman.
Something that he could improve on. But I'll tell you, this guy can play with power. Second level, he could struggle with that a little bit. But in the right run scheme, especially a power gap running scheme, I think he could really, really excel for your offensive line.
Okay, Eric, who would you trade for a backup offensive lineman?
Your 12-hour days are not making you productive. I challenge you to.
You could use the same guy.
Yeah, the correct answer is TJ Bass, unless you just really are like, we need more of a center guy, which I think TJ Bass can do a little bit of. Mm-hmm. Hoffman would probably be the answer there. Mm-hmm. But in general, if you're telling me the Cowboys' best backup offensive line, and we're including Nate Thomas as a starter right now, then I would say TJ Bass for all the reasons that Wolchuk mentioned.
How about you, Gavin?
Let me take you over here and take a look at a guy with quite a bit of versatility. I'm going Hakeem Adeniji for you.
Okay.
You got a little swing tackle here, maybe even some guard, quite a bit of position flex. Not quite a piano player, but pretty close. Now, if you really want to talk backup offensive lineman by trait and ability, and maybe not his spot on the depth chart, we could also have a conversation about Tyler Guyton, career backup.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you some upside here. He's got plenty of upside, man. He's an athlete.
I like this.
He had a great offseason.
Former first-round pick.
Former first-round pick.
Okay, I thought this was something else. They're talking about trading fringe players. All right, we will cut this segment right here. It's a little bit on the boring side. We're gonna go ahead and close out because, like I said, I want to get off here about 8:00, and want to see if I can get myself back together for Cowboys After Dark tonight. All right, let me come to this last part. Let's go to breaking news. Big Rombowski, you still on here? Let me show you something that Clarence Hill just posted on X. Find this to be very interesting. Clarence Hill just posted on X. Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer said defensive end Michael Parsons had an MRI on his back and it came back clean. He will see how he feels on Sunday. This is a serious battle they're having. At least I say it's serious. It's definitely a lot of drama. Because somewhere on here, I think Michael Parsons, while Jerry is threatening Michael Parsons to play on a tag, Michael is threatening Jerry to say, well, I'll just be hurt. And not only will I be hurt, I'll use an injury that you actually can't track because soreness in my back will boil down to me telling you how I feel. Boy, woof. Boy, I tell y'all, this is a dirty game. This is a dirty game they're all playing, man. This is a dirty game. This is a dirty game, man. He used an injury that nobody can truly track. That's crazy. And also, too, I think it's a great comment. Let me see who made this comment. Even though the percentage of a contract is capped at 3%, I think somebody, Robert M., it said that. The problem is that the endorsement deals can go from what my understanding is, the endorsement deal side of this isn't even regulated. They're saying that an agent can get up to 20% of an endorsement deal. That's crazy work. Because I promise y'all, when Michael Parsons signs this deal, you watch what I tell you. Watch how many commercials he's going to be in. Watch how many commercials he will be in. Yeah, I agree with you, Robert M. Ego and money never mix well. No. Brandon Cupp said, I feel like Michael was offered $200 million for 5 years. Yeah, I want to know the years. $110 million guaranteed and will bring in help. He said for sure. Then Mulugeta jumped in. Yep. It's crazy. But again, I'll tell you this. I don't, and I'm not going to say I don't care, but I'll tell you where I am right now. Appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight on Let's Talk Cowboys. We're going to see if we can get back tonight around midnight. I'm going to tell y'all where I am. Michael play or Michael don't play. I am excited for the first game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Woo, I'm excited. I am so ready that we're going to be focusing on football. And I tell you what, we're going to see if Jerry or Michael are willing to gamble. Because I can tell you this. Michael Parsons rolled up in here with that back thing he want to. Cowboys mess around and beat the Philadelphia Eagles and beat them bad. We're gonna have even more problems. Or I'm not going to say we're going to have problems. This thing will get even uglier. Uglier. Oh, my man Robert Hill, my financier. Appreciate that $50 super chat, my brother. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Yes, sir. I'm telling y'all, Poobie D, what up with you, man? I'm getting off. I'll be back on tonight. Well, I'm going to see if I can. Robert M. said, G, your opinion. What do you think ultimately happens with Mike? He gets signed. Robert M., you tell me what you think. I think he's going to get signed. I do. I think Michael Parsons is going to get signed. There is no question in my mind he's going to get signed. Even if it's the day of the game, I think he gets signed. I do. I think he gets signed. Hey, Dion Johnson, what's up? Hey, you know what? I'm going to get one myself. Don't worry about it. I appreciate you, though. Yes, sir. I'm gonna get that YouTube premium. Might as well with the way I operate. I'm gonna have to go ahead and get it. I don't even think it's that much if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. Scott 8292 Muffin Blue. That's me. That's what I'll tell you right now. Scotto, I'm starting it the first game of the season. I'm not actually worried about Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders. I might keep Javonte Williams as somewhat of an insurance policy, but I'm putting my trust. Man, I'm finna roll with my offensive line. I'm finna roll with Maffa. I'm finna roll with Jaden Blue, and we about to wreck this league. That's where I am. Man, I tell you this, Wilson is a one-year deal. Dart will start by mid-season. Watch what I tell you. Dart will start by mid-season, if not sooner. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Giants might look a little bit better than we thought. It's gonna be a dogfight in the NFC. Marvin Washington said, yo, G, I like your spirit, brother, keeping it positive. Man, I appreciate you. Yeah, man. Hey, I'm excited, Marvin. I am so ready to shut down all this talk with Jerry and Micah. Because, man, I'm telling you, this is really taking away from what Jerry and his front office has done this season. I refuse to lose sight of what Jerry and his front office has done. I refuse to do it. I'm not one of those who's saying the Cowboys are doing the same old stuff. I don't believe this is the same old stuff. This seems different to me. This seems different to me. And the Cowboys have put together a great roster. And I'm just so glad this is the best roster. This might be one of the best. This might be the best roster that Dak Prescott has played on. Seriously. The offensive line may not be as good as Travis Frederick, Ty Smith, Zach Martin. But when I look at the totality of the offense and the defense, the coaches that they put around Dak Prescott, the mentality they're trying to put into the culture they're trying to bring, I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited. I'm ready for this stuff to speak. I'm ready for this stuff to just blow over. Michael gets signed, get his butt ready to go, and let's play football September the 4th. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're going to celebrate our 1-year anniversary on that day. We're going to have some giveaways, all kinds of things. Man, I'm looking forward to it. Appreciate you guys again for all the support. Robert M., boy, I'm telling you, man, you could lean either way, couldn't you? Because if you listen to Jerry, Robert M., I'll say this. If Jerry sticks to his guns, I will not be surprised if Micah Parsons starts out on a franchise tag, and if it continues to get ugly, they trade him. Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. I think that's the worst case. Skull Unknown said pressure's even more now to win. Everyone says we beat them all the time. Let's see if that changes. Man, I'm telling you, this NFC East is gonna be a dogfight. But again, let me get off here. I'm gonna go get me something to eat. We'll see how it rolls. And if I feel good tonight, we're gonna come back for Cowboys After Dark. Especially if something comes down that's worth our time on the news. But again, hey guys, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Appreciate all the super chats. Best chat on YouTube. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. DC4L. God bless. Peace.